All right, moving on to our next game. This is Sprint 1 in the arcades. And don't be fooled, this is not the first Sprint. We've seen several variations. What Atari does is they change the name based on how many people play. Looks like this one is just the one-player version. So we're in the arcades. Let's see the artwork for Sprint 1. Yes, by Atari. The arcade cabinet has our wheel, gear shifter, and pedal. And there's a great example of the arcade cabinet. That's a different variation of Sprint 1. The circuit board, and then here's a zoomed-in version where you get control. They're trying to give you the sense of having a driving and a gear shift to play. But what they haven't done yet is the sit-down version. Everything we've seen up to this point has been standing up and driving a car in the arcades. So it looks like controls are accelerate, 4 gear shifts, and we move left and right. There's the marquee. Oh, burning rubber. Are we dragsters in this one? I'm not sure. Oh, okay, it's a top-down racing game. Programmed in black and white. Let's see if the manual has anything more for us. Here is the Operation Maintenance and Service Manual for Sprint 1. Wood, grain, and graphics versions. That's the one I wanted for 1977. So this has a serial number, location. Let's see if it has information on how to play. I'm looking for intro. This one's mostly the setup of the arcade cabinet, so we won't go through that. I was looking for more for instructions of how to play. But let's take a look. So we're in the arcades. Oh my gosh. No, we are not in 77. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 1978. We played every game in 1977. Happy New Year. We have now entered the arcades in 1978. This is our first game in January 1978. So this is Sprint 2 or Sprint 1. They gave us the artwork for Sprint 2, but I'll switch it out because we've seen that one. Looks like it could be interchangeable. So there we go. All right, so we're now playing Sprint 1 in the arcades. It is January 1978. Let's put a coin in and see what happens. Cha-ching. Put a coin in. Your car is white. Push start. So we push start. And it looks like our wheel needs to be calibrated. We need to have that operator work on this arcade cabinet for us. Whenever we set these up originally, they need an operator to mess with the controls. So let's change the controls for us. We want to turn it way down because it's programmed for a physical wheel, not a joystick. So I'm turning it all the way down so it's not as sensitive for us. And we'll do there. All right, so here we go. So I am now the white car in the bottom left corner, and it looks like I have control over... It looks like I have control over nothing. It's spinning me, but I'm not getting any movement going. What's my... Oh, there we go. Okay, so I didn't push the right button for my pedal. So now I'm moving on the screen, but now I have to know how to shift gears. There we go. Because if you shift gears, you end up going faster and faster. So on the white car, it looks like we have computer-controlled cars. We're seeing more of those in the arcades because before... and I hit the oil slick and slammed to the side. We're seeing more arcade games that are programming computers to play with us instead of having a person. But functional working, we've seen this before, and okay, it looks like I ran out of time. It's a time-based game, but we got the idea. We've seen variations, lots of different ones. It's not really the most interesting we've seen. This is below average, but still typical for the time. So we're gonna say 2.5 stars for Sprint 1. All right, so just to recap, we finished 1977. We're now at the beginning of 1978. Let's move on to our next game. This is Ultra Tank, released in 1978 in the arcades. And this, again, is another Atari game they're re-releasing. Back in the early 70s, they already had a Sprint game and they already had a Tank game, but they had no microprocessor. So the Sprint game we just played is the Sprint version they had in the early 70s, but now programmed with a microprocessor. And the same with Tank. Ultra Tank is just a re-release of what we saw in the early 70s. So let's take a look at the artwork for Ultra Tank. Way better than the original Tank. As Atari always does, I don't know if you can see on the side, they give you random quips about how to sell their stuff. I think they're really banking on the color of the artwork and using the flashiness to sell, because their words really aren't helpful. Optional extended play, built-in self-test system, larger, more maneuverable tanks. That's right, larger and more maneuverable. There's an example of the arcade cabinet. Looks like this one is 2-player. The reason there's 4 joysticks is each joystick is controlling the treads of the tank. So if you move both joysticks forward, you're moving both treads of the tank forward and you go forward. If you move both joysticks back, you reverse. And so 2-player Ultra Tank. And it looks like all we have is movement and then fire for Ultra Tank. And this one is programmed only in black and white. Let's see if the manual has more for us. This is Ultra Tank. And we got someone new in chat. Mother Lovin' Apparel, welcome. This is the Operation Service Manual for Ultra Tank, released in 1978. This looks like the service manual for the arcade cabinet. I'm looking to see if they explain how to play it. So introduction, these manuals are for the operator of the arcade and teaches them how to set it up, all the troubleshooting, everything they would need to run in the arcade. So here we go. Ultra Tank is a 1 or 2-player tank game developed by Key Games. And don't be fooled, Key Games is Atari. It's a subsidiary they made to help with the competition because Pong was being copied and copied and copied and copied. They made another company to help them with that competition. It's an upright cabinet illustrated with bright colored graphics to enhance player appeal. 19-inch black and white TV monitor. Wow. Does that really sell in 1978 if you say you got a 19-inch black and white TV monitor? I'm not sure. So there's our intro of Ultra Tank. We're in the arcades in 1978. This is February 1978, playing Ultra Tank in the arcade by Key Games. So here we go. This is Ultra Tank, and it is in black and white. We've seen some arcade cabinets being programmed in black and white, but then they have an overlay that gives us some color. No luck with Ultra Tank. All right, so let's put a coin in. Cha-ching! Extended play. We don't want to extend the play. We'll go and push start. And so I'm playing 1 player. It's having a countdown, 4 seconds before it starts to let someone else jump in if they want to be the second player. So if you look, I am the white tank on the far left. I only am controlling 1 tread right now. Okay, there we go. So I had to find my second tread, but okay, there we go. I was able to pop them. The last time we played this style of game, only 1 person could control, and we needed more people, and we didn't have anybody else that could play. All right, so it's tricky to control because you have to think of it like you're a tank. You have 1 tread that can move forward, and then another tread, and so you have to time them to know when to go forward or backward. Oh, see, he's gonna tear me up. And then I have my shot. There you go. Get it. Oh, you can even curve your shot too. Okay, so this is in the arcades. To put this in perspective, just the year before was when Atari was released in the home. Combat came out in the home, which is essentially this game, but with about 27 different game modes. So this wouldn't be super special to see in the arcades. I'm giving this below average. 3's our average for the time. This is between 2.5 since we've seen this before. And for the arcades, still in black and white, yeah, we're going to give this one a 2. Not really doing as much as we could see and have seen in the arcade.